In today's video, I want to go through the process of building a house and explaining a little bit about my thought process. First thing first, you want to decide how big your house is gonna be. In my case, it's gonna be small, and the shape of the house. When deciding the shape of the house, you don't want it to be a single rectangle, because that is gonna be boring. You want more interesting shapes, so for my case, I want to add like another rectangle here. And I also want to add like a circle tower here. Don't worry too much about the shape. Yes, it's important to have a rough sketch, but you can always modify it later. Now, before you start building, you should envision a palette you're gonna use. For the walls, I'm gonna use these 4 blocks. It's gonna go from darkest to lighter. And for the roof, I'll probably use these 2. 2 things before we begin. I haven't played survival enough yet, so I don't know how rare these blocks are. Especially this one, I think you need to go to zone 4 for that one. So if you can't get these blocks, you can always switch for something similar. The second thing, I chose a quite simple palette for this one, but you can always add more different blocks to make it more interesting. Now, the nice thing we have for Hytale is vertical slabs, which can be used to add a lot more detail. For example, in this build, I'm gonna use it to add more depth on the bottom side of the house. Now, to make it a vertical slab, you just need to hold the slab and just press R. It will cycle through orientations, and we want a normal vertical slab. So now we can just add it whatever we want and make a nice little texture. Now, the other way to add more depth is the method I use in Minecraft a lot, and it works in Hytale too, and that is of course to add some trims by using logs around the house. So you can put it on all corners. So you also want logs between floors, so it breaks up the different floors between them. Now, if you try to build a second floor by just extending the logs higher, it's gonna look a bit flat. So to fix that, instead of doing this, we can add one more block and go up from here. That way, it's a lot more organic. You might have noticed that this wall is 6 blocks high, and this one will be 5 blocks high. I did that to add a bit more variety. It may not improve the build that much, but it's just a little extra that will help the build stand out. Next thing we want to do is break up the squareness of these faces a little bit. The easiest way is to just add some stairs like this. You can also put the stairs down here to add a bit more support to the whole build. As you can see, now that I added them all, it's a lot less square, which helps the build a lot. Now, our house should probably have a door to get in, so I'm just gonna add it over here on this face. So add a door. And just a door is a little bit weird, so we're gonna add some more detail. So something like this. Now that face is a lot more interesting, but we still wanna add more stuff. So we can add some windows. So you can just break some blocks and add windows. That's a bit too high. That's better. And you can add as many windows as you want, but don't go too crazy or it would look off. Now the windows themselves don't look that great, so we're gonna have to add some detail. Now first, I'm gonna add this roof block right here. It's called a softwood roof, if you want to know. And I'm also gonna add a shelf down here. And another trick you can use is to place the trapdoors like this. And if you open them, it's like an open window. Now for the bottom, I want to use something else, so I'm gonna add a grass block and a flower. And that's gonna make like a little beautiful plant. Now to make it even nicer, we're gonna use this ancient trapdoor. Now this window is a little bit special because it's bigger than the others, so I'm gonna add some more detail here. We're gonna just place locks here, and we're also gonna use ash branch and place it like this. And then beams across. We're also gonna add beams down here and a lantern to light it up a bit. As you can see, I didn't put the lantern symmetrical, which adds a little more whimsy. Now for the roof, we're also gonna sketch out the rough shape of the roof. Now you can have different kinds of roofs. The basic one is just stairs like this. Now this one is very flat, so it doesn't look really nice. Now you can also do roofs like this, which is also better, but it still goes in one linear motion. So instead we're gonna combine them and make something like this. And in this way, it's a much smoother progression. For this part of the roof, I'm gonna use the basic design because I want this part of the roof to be lower than the main one. Now that was just a sketch of the roof, now we need to build the actual roof. Now I changed my mind about this block to one of these, but it should be the same principle. As you can see in this clip, it took me a while to figure out how to connect these two roofs, because there were different sizes, but eventually I found a design that was okay enough. Now for the roof, I'm gonna use these iron bars and alternate blocks and iron bars. Now for this space we're gonna use these 3 blocks. I especially like this one because it just adds a little bit more detail to the build. Now on the bottom I'm gonna use blue clay to add a bit more detail. On top of it I'm gonna place blue clay smooth. I did also add a window and added a little bit more to it. Now we just need to do all of this on all sides, because right now, yeah. Now I did remember that Hytale has vertical slabs, so I added those, and it made the whole tower look a lot more circular and just a lot better. I also added windows to the tower, the same design as everywhere else, but they're off-centered, which make it look a bit more unique. The roof is just a cone design with a little bit of wood in between the actual roof and the tower. Now the last thing you can do to make this build even better is to add some leaves. You can just go in the corners and just add like a mix of two different kinds of leaves, and it also comes alive. Okay, this is the finished build. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. I'm gonna be ending the video by flying around the house so you can see all the sides of it.